Last time on Perfect World post-production, we explored to find the different wood types, built an almost fully automated drill, and made the shell of our starter house. We also made this janky portable storage system behind me, which works, but looks horrific. So today we're going to focus on improving our storage situation. Both portable storage to make this vault into an actual thing that looks good, and we're going to jam some kind of a storage system into our starter house over there as well. And I think we'll actually start in the house, as we did make a basic kitchen last episode, but that was about it, and that needs some work as well. And we've also got a bit of space over here, but I think I know what I'm going to do with it. And I think the first thing we're going to do is add a little bit of power. Not because we particularly need much power in here. We only need to power a few belts for the storage system, but it should look quite good just to have a few water wheels spinning in here. And I'd quite like to make the windmill on my roof spin as well. So let's dig out a little bit of space here. I think I want to get rid of the floor and actually drop it down by a block. That should give us enough space to fit the water wheels in. So we'll have a few water wheels on this side, and on this side here, we'll probably have some kind of a storage interface thing. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get the power in first. That's the water wheels in, and I need to route the power over the top here and then over this way, and then I need to get it all the way upstairs, which means I'm going to need a bunch of shafts. I'm going to need some more andesite casings, maybe some brackets and gearboxes, but it looks like we can just send the power straight up there, which would be good. Right, so if we put a few encased chain drives in there and then send that over this way, stick a gearbox in there, and we do have crate encased on here, which means we can blend that in a little bit better with the industrial iron. And I want to put a speedometer there, then a stressometer, and what I think I want to do is rotate that to send the power up this way. And then once again, we can disguise these, and that's got our power up here. Wonderful. Now we just need to get it under the windmill, which is probably about here. Oh, look at that. Perfect. And we just need a couple more gearboxes, some more shafts, and I probably don't want to be connecting this one here just yet because I don't think I've actually stuck the windmill together. Oh, apparently I already have, actually. That's good, but what I want to do is remove this one here. I want to make sure that this is set to only place when the anchor is destroyed, just in case the power goes out. Otherwise, it can mess up the trapdoors when it stops, but that should mean it never stops, or at least never resets its position. There we go, much better. So we'll sort out some brackets in just a moment. We are going to sort out this whole storage interface area as well, but first, I think I have decided I do actually want to block this wall in, or block the kitchen in with a wall, I should say. Just something like that. We'll have a nice big window here, we'll have a doorway here, and the kitchen itself, well, that needs a bit of work as well. So let's quickly make this look a little bit nicer, shall we? So we'll get the wall finished off. I'm going to expand the table and dump some stuff on it. We'll add a few crates and extra details, and there we go. The kitchen's looking much better now. Let's talk about storage. And if we take a look upstairs here, we can see we've got quite a lot of space here. We should be able to get at least a few vaults in, although I doubt they're going to be full-size ones. But we can literally have the vaults fill this whole section back there, and potentially another one on this side as well, but I suppose I do need to put a bed somewhere too. But then I've got a sleeping bag, so I guess it's not that important. I can just hide a bed somewhere, can't I? I don't actually need a bedroom. I may as well make the space functional after all. In fact, I don't like seeing this diamond armor on me. I think I can do this. And then I'm still wearing the armor, but you can't see the armor. Yeah, there we go. Look, much better. But anyway, right, storage. So I need to make a whole bunch of vaults to go upstairs. I'm going to need some packages and some funnels and things like that. But I'm also going to need brass funnels. And brass is something we don't have yet because we haven't been to the Nether. And I do want to add some solar panels and things on the roof as well. And I'm thinking I want to use these daylight sensors, but we need quartz for that. So that's another reason to go to the Nether. And while we're there, it'd be nice to get some of the Nether woods as well. So I guess maybe we should prepare for an adventure. Now I'm going to grab all of the food items we've got in here, which I'll be honest isn't much, but let's get all this stored in the kitchen. So we'll have meat in that one, fruit in that one, and then random other bits in there. But let's have a look and see what we can actually make, shall we? I mean, I'll be honest, it doesn't look like we can actually make much yet, but we can take our mutton and chop this up. So we now have a stack of mutton chops, and if we get those cooked, it looks like I need to make some slight adjustments here, just because the things that were flying out were getting caught on the cupboard, but this should now be, yep, collecting all our mutton chops. Wonderful. So that should be plenty of food to help us survive in the Nether. Now, I wonder, can I make myself a gold helmet? I guess I can if I cook up the gold. So let's just do that here. We're also going to need a flint and steel. We're going to need obsidian, but I think we've only got that one block we accidentally made in the first episode. But I think I know where some is. If we go back to that ruined portal where we initially tried to get lava, then hopefully there'll be enough obsidian for us there. It looks like there's probably enough here. Let's get chopping. 11 pieces and 1 crying obsidian, which I couldn't leave behind, which means we've got enough to make ourselves a portal, and we can just see what's on the other side of it, I guess, and hope for the best. Although before we go, I should probably turn a bunch of iron into iron sheets and make ourselves some blaze burners. Some of these, which just need a little bit of netherrack, which, I mean, I've got 1 piece. I could always go back to the portal and get more, but I'm fairly sure we do actually have some in storage already from the first time I was over there looking for lava. But we're going to need these in order to catch ourselves a blaze so we can then get brass. So 16 of those, that should be plenty. Now, where do we want to put this portal? I'm thinking maybe in the little tunnel we've got down here. Yeah, how about we just punch out a little hole over this side? All right, there we go. And we'll worry about making that look better later. For now, I think I just want to grab myself a bunch of cobbles so we've got some blocks, and then hopefully we'll have a successful trip in the Nether. Let's go see what we've got. Ah, dang it, it's a basalt delta. But look at that, there's a fortress right there. That's handy. But yeah, basalt delta, not my favorite. Let's just make this portal a little bit safer before we do anything else. We see anything else around? Just more basalt. I mean, that looks like normal nether waste, which is good. Oh, I forgot to make the helmet. We don't have any gold on us. Let's quickly go sort that. Right, there we go. That's better. And it's looking like we're going to need more blocks as well. So I'm just going to grab more cobble and maybe a boat just so we can get down from high places. Now, the first thing I want to do is get over there to that fortress. So I think what I'm going to do is actually bridge over to there. We'll dig through the basalt. We'll go across the top and just see what we're working with over there. And hope we don't get any ghasts appearing in the meantime. Oh, look at that. There's a blaze burner right there. That's all I need from a fortress. Ow. So I think what we're going to do is just get in a boat. Ow, we're on fire again. We're just going to sneak underneath here, grab lots of blaze burners, eat some food so we don't die. And let's just run around the corner here, get somewhere a little bit safer. Okay, right, we're in the fortress. I guess we should probably have a look around and do some looting. It'd be rude not to, and it looks like a big old fortress. Let's see what we can find. Oh, first with a skeleton, we got a skull. What are the odds of that? Well, it wasn't too bad. We found some stuff. I don't really know what this is. A blaze upgrade smithing template. But we also got a bunch of saddles and some armor, some horse bits, and of course a wither skull. Oh, and we also found another gold backpack, which is wonderful. What I need to do now, though, is find some other biomes. I want to try and get some warped and crimson wood if I can. And it looks like we have both over in this direction. So let's make a path over that way and see if we can locate it. Well, I've got lucky over here in the Warped Forest. This Enderman's actually carrying one of these, and I don't have Silk Touch yet. So, yeah, this is the only way I'm going to get one. Wonderful. Did he drop it? Ah, he did. Excellent. That means we can actually make more of that back at our base. Now, though, let's chop down a few more of these and grab some wood. Just on my way to the Crimson Forest, I figured we might as well do a bit of piggo trading. Ooh, they gave me a dried ghast. I didn't even know that was on their drop list. Guess that means we're going to have another pet when we get home. Aha, I see crimson. I think we've got everything we came for. Let's get back to the safety of the overworld, shall we? Right, we're back. We're offloaded. What I now need is some copper and some zinc. We're going to take a bucket of lava. We need an empty bucket because we need to get this stuff cooked up. And, of course, we're going to need one of our blaze burners. Oh, we also need some fuel. Now, we've already got a mixer set up over here somewhere. There we go. If we stick that in there, we do actually need to quickly just do this. Turn this into a cooker briefly. Oh, is that going to be a problem? No, as long as we're careful. There we go. They're all cooked. Let's put this all back in order. If we put copper in there, and it would help if I had the zinc as well. There we go, and the zinc. And that should give us 2 stacks of brass ingots. That should be enough to get us started. We're also going to need some more volts, so I guess while we're here, we may as well crush down all of this. I keep saying crush, it's not crush. We need to flatten it. Turn it into plates. Sheets. They're not even plates, they're sheets. Oh my days. Clearly still sleep deprived. Now, if we just grab a few stripped logs and put brass on them, we are in the brass age. So now we've got brass. What I want to do is upgrade our drill so I don't have to sit here anymore. So let's get rid of this seat. We're going to remove this log here, and we're going to make ourselves some deployers. So we're going to need 2 brass hands, which means we need 2 andesite alloy. We need andesite casings, so we need 2 more andesite alloy. And we need electron tubes, which we need iron sheets, rose quartz. But now we have quartz, we can actually get that. Okay, this should be doable. The only thing I'm missing is andesite to make the andesite alloy. So let's quickly go dig a bit of that out. We know where some is, unless there's any hiding down here somewhere. That would be a no. But we know there's plenty in here, so let's just dig up another layer or 2. And we'll mix that andesite up into alloy. But then we should have all the ingredients we need to make some deployers. And there we go. So if we put 1 deployer there, not facing that way, but actually facing... Nope, not that way either. But pointing down, that's much more useful. We're going to filter that guy for rail. And we'll put another one in here. And we're going to filter this one for cobble. We're going to make sure there's plenty of rail and cobble in there. And now that is fully automated. Because this guy will build a bridge to make sure there's always a block for this guy to place a rail on, which will then get picked up by the plow. So it should just cycle round and round. So we'll come back to this drill later. We're definitely going to need it before we build our portable storage interface type thing. But for now, I think we've probably got what we need to be able to sort out this one in here and potentially get some of the vaults upstairs as well. I don't think we're going to be able to get all of the vaults in because, well, I don't have enough iron at the moment. But we should be able to make a good start. So we can make 77 item vaults. In fact, if we make some more barrels, we should be able to make more than that. 91, that's better. Now, we know we want to have the collection area down here, which means we're going to need chutes, I guess, going upstairs. So they're going to end up coming up here somewhere. So let's start putting in vaults over here. And we're going to want space in front of them. So we'll stick a second one in there and we're out of vaults already. So, well, I guess this is going to be the start of our storage system up here. But over time, we will get more iron from our iron farm. We've also got an iron vein that we found in the last episode that we could just mine into that for a while and get lots of iron. But I can't be bothered right now. This will be enough storage to get us started either way. But I think what I want to do is sort out the bit down here first, because that's going to dictate exactly how we set up the bit upstairs. So a short while later, I think we're making progress. We've got our little setup here. So anything we put in here will go over these little drains and then get pushed up by a fan underneath here that will go up these tubes and send it upstairs. We do need to get a clerk, but once we do, anything we order will come down these chutes here, go into the barrel, then get sent across into this barrel over here. And it will, of course, get unpackaged before it goes in. So that's the downstairs looking pretty good. Now upstairs, I do still need to sort out power, because at the moment this power is incredibly slow, which means we're probably going to need a speed controller, which is not the easiest thing to make, but we should be able to do it with a bit of effort. Now upstairs, I've got the setup sorted, so we have packages on top of the vaults there with links that are connected to the stock link downstairs, which means packages will come out here, and then this is the tube they get sent down. We just saw the exit for that downstairs. And anything going into storage goes up this chute here, gets put on the belt, and then we'll go into the vaults wherever there's space. And we will add some more vaults as time goes on, but yeah, we don't have the resources for that right now. So I think it's just a case of getting some power up here to these belts, but the problem is this is going incredibly slow. And I don't want this to be the slowest storage system in the world, so I'm going to need to make myself a speed controller. And although not the most straightforward thing to make in the world, it should be possible for us. Maybe. It's just going to take a little bit of time, and we're going to need to borrow one of these deployers. So let's just steal this one for now. Then we're going to need some gold. We're going to need cogs. And we're going to need iron nuggets. Now, the first thing we're going to need is a gold sheet. We're going to stick a deployer in there, which does need to be facing the other way. Stick a depot underneath. We're going to put the gold sheet on top here. And now we just need to start applying some cogs. So it's a small one, a large one, then a nugget. And we need to do that 5 times. And hopefully, at the end of this, we'll actually get what we're after. There we go, 1 precision mechanism. And in fact, I think while I'm here, let's maybe make another couple of these things. Right, so we've got our speed controller. Let's maybe jam that in there. In fact, I've got a better idea. Let's actually put that on this side, because if we do it in line here, then it's going to make it much easier to link these two belts together. So we can just do this. And if we stick a gearbox there, that has got the belts running in the correct directions. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. So we just need to get ourselves a clerk. Let's see who's lurking about. There's bound to be some wildlife somewhere. I've not really taken out much of the wildlife on this island. Tried to let it roam a bit more free, which doesn't seem to have paid off. There's absolutely nothing around. Although mobs do try to find the high points, don't they? So let's maybe go up here. I wonder if there's everything hiding on top of this hill. Yep, there we go. Knew it. Right, let's take this pig. Come on, fella. You can be our lovely new clerk. And there we go. We now have a clerk. So if I dump some stuff in here, then that gets added to our storage system. And if I request it again, it should just make its way into this barrel here. Yep, look at that. Wonderful. It just needs to be a bit bigger, and I need to try and speed up the fan down here if I can. That one's a bit slow. Although I do have speed controllers now, so we can get rid of all this jank and just do that. And stuff should get into our storage much quicker now. Yep, there we go. Wonderful. Right, so that's another job done. So with our base storage sorted, I think it's time we tackled this over here. That is not looking good. Not good at all. But in order to do that, I'm going to need a bunch more resources. I need some diorite, I need some zinc, and a few other bits and bobs for what I've got planned. So let's get this deployer back in place, because it's time for a mining montage. Well, we're back from our mining trip, and I've got lots and lots of goodies that are all going to come in very handy. I just need to offload them into that thing. In fact, if I was using my brain, I should probably offload this into my actual new main storage, shouldn't I? I already forgot this existed. Well, that's the drill emptied. I think we're just about ready to make a better version of this, but I kind of need these vaults, and these vaults have got a lot of stuff in them. So what I'm thinking is we'll just destroy them and load up our backpacks. So that's now all cleared away. Everything is in our storage over here. And I've also added a few filters to organize things. And to get this organized, what we need to do is make these filters here, which is just a piece of wool and 2 brass nuggets. And then what we can do is grab, for example, the crafting table, select what it is we actually want. So anything that is in the group functional blocks. Let's do that. We click the plus button here and it adds it onto the selected attributes. And then when we put this filter in here, we can give it a name, functional blocks. Click the tick, and now that's created another new category for us. So if we scroll to the bottom here, we've now got functional blocks. There we go. And we've still got a bunch of unsorted stuff, but I'm not too bothered about that right now. But some organization definitely helps. But that's enough procrastinating. We've got some building to do, and the first thing I want to do is make a parking space for what we're going to be building here. So I need to clear out quite a big area over here. I mean, we are going to be making a fairly big vehicle, so I think a nice big driveway behind these buildings should work quite nicely for it. That will hopefully be enough space to get us started. Let's grab a few bits from storage and get to building. Over an hour later, and I've almost gathered together a bunch of stuff I think I'm going to need. Look at this, we've got a whole backpack full of stuff, and some of it was quite difficult to make, such as these hypertube bits, because, well, I needed to make more of those precision mechanisms, and they take forever. We're just making a mess over here at the moment, getting some white concrete, but once we've got this, we should be good to start the build. I've also created a bit of a mess up here, oxidizing some copper, but hopefully that won't take too much longer. But I am also oxidizing copper on the bit where I want to build, so I'm gonna go make a cup of tea and maybe a cheeky sandwich, and hopefully when I come back this will all be oxidized, and then we can build. One sandwich and a cup of tea later, and a lot of it has turned, not all of it, but I'd say this is probably... Oh, jeez! So, as I was saying, it's not all turned, but I think we've probably got enough here. We'll just pretend I didn't get blown up by a creeper, okay? Now, the plan here is to build a storage transport truck, a bit like what we did in the Just Create series, but this is solar punk. And part of solar punk is to upcycle things and basically integrate technology into them, make them a bit greener and nicer for the environment, and also integrate some cool technology. So instead of just rebuilding what we did on Just Create, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I don't really know how this is going to work out, but we're going to start by building building the front of the truck. And because I don't have any wax, I'm actually going to be putting these copper blocks inside copycat blocks. That way, they're not actually going to weather or age anymore. Now, front of the truck. What I'm thinking is one of those kind of American-style big rig type things. So let's see if we can get a cool shape on the front. So we're going to use these copycat slopes and maybe something like that. That looks quite cool. And then maybe a little slopey bit at the front there as well. Okay, height-wise, that feels about right for scale. Now let's expand the base out a little bit. So then this is where the hyper tubes are going to come in. What I'm thinking is these look pretty cool. I'm hoping that if we do something like that... Yeah, that looks like a little hover engine thing instead of a wheel, doesn't it? Although, because this is going to be a storage contraption, when it's in contraption mode, these things are going to work, aren't they? And they're going to start dumping my inventory all over the ground, which is not something we want. So how about if we stick a couple of levers under here? Is that going to... Yep, there we go. They're now locked, so they shouldn't spit anything on the floor. Hopefully. So let's just build up the rest of the cab here. So we're going to need some glass. We're going to need some doors. And I think we're going to try these folding doors. Make them copper at the bottom and glass at the top. Then we'll give it a roof, although we've run out of the copper that we need. But there's nothing to stop me getting the shape in the meantime, I guess. And do I have any copycat steps? I do. Wonderful. Okay, that's not looking too bad. Now let's start by getting some wing mirrors on. And we've got these cool andesite steps, which have come from the Create Bells and Whistles, which I think is stuff for trains, but I think combined, it actually works quite well for the truck as well. I wish I'd stop falling down there. But that means we can actually get into our truck as well, which is nice. Now, from design and decor, we've got these front lights, which I think should look pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Although they'd look better if they were turned on. So we're going to try these giant stepped lever things. Is that going to turn them on? Maybe if I put them all the way to the bottom? No. Okay, I guess we won't be turning those on. That's a shame. On the front here, let's have a little bit more of a grill and an andesite funnel, which is going to have the same problem as those. But I guess if I do... That's just one notch on the lever. Has that turned it off? Yes, it has. We've got the red light on. Excellent. We're going to use these funnels for decoration. We need to make sure they've all got power. Now, around the back here, I think what we need to do is extend this out a little bit more, and then the trailer will sort of go up and over and hook onto it, right? That's how trucks work. And usually that would also mean there'd be extra wheels here, or in our case, extra hover engine things. And then maybe another bit of copper there. What's that like lengthwise? Yeah, that feels like a big rig type thing, doesn't it? And I've got an idea. How about in the middle here we use girders? Yeah, that's cool. I like that. And big rigs tend to have these exhausts on the back, which of course now have been converted to use biofuel. I do need to get these funnels on as well, which are also going to need power. So that means we're going to need more levers. Looking good. I think it needs a bit more shape though. So maybe what we should do is stick some panels on the sides here. Steal those blocks and stick them on the outside instead. And then that actually gives us a bit of space to play with inside, which is nice. So we still need more oxidized copper, however. So let's quickly spread this out a little bit more. And we do have Create Oxidized in the pack. I just don't have a setup for that at the moment. So we're doing things the old-fashioned way. But for the first part of the truck, I'm pretty pleased with that. But now we need to add the vault. And this truck's definitely going to be bigger than my old ones. Usually I have the windows actually at this level and they're much smaller. So yeah, this thing's going to be massive. So let's just get a max size vault in, which is 9 blocks long. Yep, looking pretty big. And we're probably going to want to stretch this out a couple more blocks this way as well, because of course we need to have the interface to actually make the storage work. So let's start by building out the rest of the trailer at the bottom here. And we're going to do something that we saw Chosen do. Don't know the red bit. I'll put them on from this side. Will it get rid of that? Not quite what we want. I think what I need to do is put them on, yep, there we go, that way. But they look like cool little fuel tank type things, which I think Chosen did on one of his trains in the Just Create SMP, and it just looks really cool. So, yep, we're going to be stealing that idea. Thank you, Chosen. And look at these things. Large metal girders from Design and Decor. That's just a cool block. We're probably also going to want a couple more of the hover engine type things and a couple of blocks sticking out the back. So that's going to be the length of our lorry. That's a big old lorry. You can even make it a bit longer. So once again, we're going to need those, and then we're going to need levers to power them. And then we'll finish out the back here with a couple of blocks of industrial iron. I'll tell you what, it's probably worth putting another ladder on the back here as well. Looking good, but we need to cover the sides of this thing. And for now, let's just cover it in copycat panels. I reckon if we were to do... In fact, maybe we should make it bow out a bit in the middle. Then we can go thin again at the top. Out. Yeah, shape-wise, that looks pretty cool. And this is where the white concrete's going to come in, but I want to have a look at some different variants. So I should have a mason table somewhere. Let's take this up here where it's going to be a bit more useful, I think. So what do we got? I mean, these ones here are quite cool. Let's maybe try this on the bottom with this diorite variant in the middle. That's already looking quite cool, actually. And something for the top. Maybe the stacked? Oh, I don't really like the panel. Let's try this. Yeah, color-wise, I quite like that. It's a bit boring, though. We should definitely stick lots of stuff to it. But for a base, I like it. Some of our copper is already turning, which is good. Let's quickly grab these. We can block out the van a little bit more. I say van, it's actually a lorry this time, isn't it? There we go. So that should be all of this side. Oh, no, not quite. We haven't done the front bit there. But I like that. That's looking good. Now, before we go any further, let's work out the back here. So we'll start off with a packager, which is going to deliver things ideally unpackaged. So if we do that, stick down a barrel with another packager there. We're going to need a stock link on the side of that. We're going to link the stock link to a stock ticker with a blaze burner in front. So that's going to be our shop clerk guy. I like it. Now we need somewhere to load up items. And the best way for us to actually do this is to package things with a barrel and then unpackage them back into there. Because if we just had an item drain, we wouldn't be able to put things like super glue and other bits and bobs in there. Whereas this way, we can put anything in the barrel and it will go into this. We're also going to need a crafting table and a schematic cannon. Always handy to have. Then maybe an ender chest and a stone cutter. I mean, that feels like pretty much everything we're going to need. Now, let's add a little bit of detail to the side here. How about removing those? Then we've got some more of these stepped levers that I quite like. Can we maybe turn these down? Oh, and the good thing is that's also going to power this packager here, which is needed, because otherwise when we load things into the barrel, it would just sit there. So yeah, this should actually work out quite nicely. Maybe for a splash of color, some bamboo shafts. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. And then how do we feel about item drains? Get a couple of those on, and I guess here we could do another one of these things with the stepped levers. Then let's just chuck in a display link up there because we can. And I mean, it's good. It's getting there. Maybe we need to sort out the roof. And to be honest, we also actually need to sort out the other side of this thing. So let's quickly do that first. So that's that side done. Now on the roof here, I'm thinking maybe we want to do the kind of raised thing again. Although I do have an idea for the roof for some solar panels. Now I'm hoping this is going to work and look okay. Maybe. I mean, it looks a bit like a solar panel, I guess. Let's run with it for now. And I'm thinking maybe an aerial on the top here as well, with some little satellite-y type things. Maybe a redstone link, because why not? Just jam some stuff on the roof. But here, I do want to do something a little bit different. I mean, we've got the engines at the bottom that are going to give it lift. Oh, there's a zombie. Hey, buddy. Which means I should probably sleep. Oh, I fell down. Oh, it was a speedy boy with a bag. Wow, he hits hard. That dude was mean. Wow. Glad this isn't hardcore. Jeez. Oh, no, he's still here. Where's he gone? I'm hiding inside the truck. I don't know where he's got to. Has he ran off somewhere else? Oh, he's down there, look. I mean, I should be able to retrieve my body though, right? Maybe we should grab a shield and deal with this guy. Oh my days. The shield did not really help at all, but that's probably more of a user issue than anything else, let's be honest. Aha, what are you gonna do now? You're trapped down there, buddy. Let's just ignore him for now. Can't hurt us if he's trapped in a hole, right? Now, where were we? Ah, yes, we're going to put some cool details on over here. So what we're going to do is, instead of using the hypertube accelerator blocks, which is what we've used underneath, we're going to use an entrance block up here, along with some other brass bits. And if we do this, and I'm hoping this is going to look pretty cool. Yeah, look at that. They look like some cool engines. But the engines are going to need to be fed the biofuel, so maybe something like this. And maybe just a comparator on top for no reason. Yeah, why not? Let's stick some more of these down as well. Now, I reckon this van's looking pretty cool. It just needs some kind of a logo or something in the middle. And I've got an idea on how we can do that, but I don't know if I can actually make them yet, because we do have Create Railways Navigator in here, and we've got these advanced display panels. How do we make them, though? From display boards. So we just need normal display boards and sturdy sheets. Aha, okay. So, I mean, we can do it. It's just going to be a little bit manual. How many do we need? So that's going to make us 6 of those. 4 of those gives us 8 display panels. I mean, that's probably going to be enough, right? So I only need 2 sturdy sheets, I think. Maybe. I want to have a little play around with these boards because I'm hoping that'll be a way for us to actually put signage on the side of a van, but also keep that signage when we turn it into a contraption. Because, of course, if we use immersive paintings or frames or anything like that, it just falls off, and that's no good at all. So let's do a little bit of crafting, and then hopefully we can make ourselves some sturdy sheets. Something I haven't considered is we're also going to need powdered obsidian, which means we need crushing wheels. To get crushing wheels, we need a mechanical crafter. And for a mechanical crafter, we're going to need 7 electron tubes. Oh, my days. Okay, right. We've got quite a path ahead of us. And it's all going to start with rose quartz. Right, let's get this done. Sanding, squishing, casing, building, crafting, crushing, squirting. And now we have everything we need to make some advanced display boards, and then we can use 4 of those to make some advanced display panels, and I'm hoping these do what I want them to. So let's start by maybe removing those 4. Okay, so far so good. The question is, how do we customize that? Is it our wrench? Yeah, okay. I think it's our wrench that does that. So these boards are designed for train information, but static text. Excellent. That's what we wanted. Rich text. Double-sided won't do anything. So can we just type something in here and that shows on the board? Let's go with Beard Corp for now. Oh, yes. Look at that. Yeah, I like that. What other options do we have here? So lots of positioning stuff. Don't really care about that. We can have scrolling text. That's fun. We can change the color of the label background. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, we don't want to do that. We can change the font color. Maybe like a gray would look a bit better. Doesn't look any different. That does. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Doesn't stand out as much. And it looks like we can just copy that and then paste it over here. Wonderful. And our copper's ready, so we can actually do the last few outstanding bits on this. I think that's all of them. Yep, looking good. I'm really pleased with that. I think that's looking good. I think the back here still needs something, though. It looks a little bit weird. Probably help if it wasn't missing that panel there. How about maybe some kind of a door across the top here as well? One of those roll-up doors that's currently rolled up, although now the sides look weird. Maybe we can fix that with some copycat slices, just to give that a bit of a lip. Yeah, that works. But we do still have some space here that I'd quite like to make use of if we can. So let me think. If I remove all these bits, maybe we could have a furnace, a blast furnace, and a stove. In fact, let's rearrange these a little bit. We had the stove there, the blast furnace there, skillets, and a basket. We might actually be able to cook some food in here. Can we get away with putting a bed in here? Then on the back here, maybe we can get away with that, just to block it off. And with that, I think we're just about there. That's a pretty cool looking truck. Just needs a finishing touch. There we go. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that thing. Although I think I want to turn it round. The other side's probably going to look better because we'll see the solar panels properly, which means I need some super glue. And we're going to have to spend a bit of time getting all this glued together. It's not going to be the most straightforward thing in the world. Now, hopefully I've glued everything. Let me just do this, put that down and flick the lever. And, oh, we missed a few bits. Nothing too major, though. That could have gone a lot worse. So let's get those glued on, and we missed those panels there. But that is everything. Wonderful. And it keeps the name on the side as well. Excellent. Nothing fell off. Everything's still powered that needs to be powered. I'd say we've got ourselves a working portable storage unit. And I was right, the solar panels do look a lot better from this side. Look at that thing, though. What a beast. And as always, this schematic will be available on the Discord, as will the schematic for the build behind me, now that it's a bit more complete. And they're available to YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and Twitch subscribers of any level. Just make sure your accounts are connected, and you should be able to see them. But sadly, that's all we've got time for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.